So, as we all know, and Trump campaigned on this, he was going to deport the worst of the worst when it came to people that were here, to undocumented people. He was going to deport the worst of the worst, the criminals, But what he really meant, okay, was he was going to deport people who aren't criminals, who aren't the worst of the worst. They're not criminals at all. Most of them, most of the people that have been caught up in these immigration customs enforcement raids, okay, have no criminal background at all. And of course, a lot of these, um, there have been many that have been caught up in these raids that have been deported that are American citizens. But what he really meant was he was going to hire the worst of the worst. In other words, he was going to hire people to work for ICE and Border Patrol who were mean, nasty, and violent, and violent sex offenders. Uh, there have been 59 violent sex offenders that have been hired by ICE and Border Patrol. 50 officers charged or convicted of sexual or violent offenses since '06. And most of those happened in 20 and 25 when Trump was president. Well, because he's president now and it's 2026. So yeah, I think I misquoted. Uh-huh. 2025 and 2026. Yeah, 25 of those cases date from 2025 to 2026. And yeah, during a second term. hmm And the bulk of, okay, I didn't write. Oh yeah, 37 of them involved child victims. In those cases, let's see, child victims of those cases, and 25 date from 2025 to 2026 in during Trump's second term. And this is information according to the Daily Beast. Their yeah, their investigative Substacks report, Punch Up. I didn't plan that very well, but you get my point. See, here's the whole thing about it. See, Trump, as we're all aware by now, has been mentioned in the Epstein files hundreds of thousands of times. So, in his sick and twisted, warped, demented brain, and this goes back years, he doesn't see sex offenses as crimes. Or maybe he does, and he just really likes to prop up those people that were convicted of violent sex crimes. He likes to prop those people up. And that includes people that commit crimes against children. Now, I have a child, and when she was a kid, if somebody would have hurt her in that way, in any way, committed a crime against her, well, you know what they say about a mama bear? most dangerous animal on this earth is a mama bear protecting her cubs? Well, I don't know about that, but I'm pretty sure we humans come in second, if not first. But these are the people that Trump likes to prop up. People that commit violence against women and children, people that can commit violence in his name or for him. Those are the people he props up. And Lindsey Graham was laid to rest over the weekend, I do believe. And of course, Trump went to that funeral, and there is video of Trump sitting there in the church. Surprised he didn't burst into flames. My own editorial. But he's sitting there in the church, falling asleep, of course, as he generally does. But also at the same time, there's a guy that's sitting right directly behind him, and you can see the expression on this man's face. So, with that, you know, he probably should have just went, because either Trump was smelling like the urinator, or he had a incident in his adult diapers. But apparently the man behind him was sitting downwind and caught a good whiff. Now, you would think, okay, seriously, you would think, with as vain as Trump is, with the, I don't know, level maybe you could call it, I don't know, with as severe as his narcissism is. I've heard it referred to as malignant narcissism. You would think that someone that is as vain as that would not want to draw attention to himself in a negative way. And anyone that does not have control of their bodily faculties is going to draw attention to themselves in a negative way. But who knows what kind of horseshit goes through Trump's mind. You know, but we all know the man's brain is more than Swiss cheese. I don't know what's holier than that. But, you know, there have been a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists, doctors that have just watched him on video. Now they can't diagnose him with any kind of certainty because Trump isn't their patient, but they can make assumptions. They can come to conclusions given the fact of, you know, their expertise. And that Trump is, without a doubt, he has dementia. We all know this. We had kind of an idea back a few years ago when he had to sit for a deposition before the E. Jean Carroll civil trial, and they showed a picture of E. Jean Carroll. And he thought it was his ex-wife Marla Maples. So as far back as then, he was showing symptoms. What I would think is a symptom, because I'm not a doctor, I don't know. But yeah, all I know is this. is that the midterms are right around the corner, and it's looking more and more like there is going to be a blue tsunami that is going to just sweep through Washington, D.C. because Democrats they have overperformed in mostly in historically red areas. They've either overperformed, well, they've overperformed, and some of them have overperformed and have won in special elections, off year elections. Democrats are winning. And I think a lot of that is because people are finally starting to wake up as to what's really happening and why things have gotten to be so effed up. They're realizing that the real people, the people that are really calling the shots, are the wealthiest 1%. Your multi-billionaires and your multinational, multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar corporations are pulling the strings. They're the men, or what the corporations, whatever, behind the curtain. And people are starting to realize that. They're also starting to listen to some of these democratic socialists, which is what we need to do. Listen to those that are not taking corporate PAC money. Those are the people that have got to be avoided at all costs. You can't just vote blue no matter who anymore. Okay, we need to get away from corporate politics and corporate politicians. Because when these politicians take thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from these super PACs, these corporations, then all of a sudden, not even all of a sudden, they're just being bought up by these corporate super PACs and these corporations. That's what they're doing. They're being bought up. So, and when they win, if they win, when they do win, and when they have won in the past, okay, they just end up working for those super PACs. And that is on both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrat. The people that you really want to look for and listen to are the ones that are taking no PAC money. The ones that are getting donations, grassroots donations, people from, you know, regular people that are donating, those are the ones you want to listen to. Because those are the ones that don't want to have a corporate master. They don't want to have to answer to a super PAC. They don't want to have to answer to some corporation. They don't want to have to have a corporate boss. No, they want to be able to govern the way they know is best, the way they know is right. Because I'll tell you, these corporatist politicians, they don't know what's right. They just know that they're getting a fat paycheck, and that's all they care about. So, anyway, please, when you get out and vote in November, vote for a Democratic Socialist. Vote for someone that is liberal. Listen to what they have to say, and then don't take my word for it. Look at what's going on in New York City with Mamdani as mayor. What he's doing in New York City right now can be a template for what can happen and how things can change in this country. But anyway, that's my rant. If you could do me a favor, please, and hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share. I have 12 subscribers now, so subscribe. And my internet friends, please take care of yourselves wherever you are.